Minutes after winning re-election to a third term as Manhattan District Attorney last week, Cyrus R. Vance Jr., a celebratory drink in hand, was asked how he would rebuild the trust of voters angry about large donations to his campaign from defense lawyers with cases before his office. "It's very important that we address this public concern," he said. "And we will institute sensible, progressive and effective fundraising policies and limits." Much had changed in Mr. Vance's world since his campaign sent out an invitation last May for his last big fundraiser, a Women for Sci luncheon. Mixed in among the boldface names of politicians, actors, socialites, and real estate developers on the host committee were two criminal defense lawyers who often represent people in Manhattan. Donations to district attorney candidates from defense lawyers are legal in New York and have been going on since the 19th century. Yet the practice has drawn new scrutiny in recent weeks, after critics raised conflict of interest questions about Mr. Vance's decisions not to prosecute Harvey Weinstein and members of the Trump family in separate cases. The defense lawyers in the two cases were big contributors to Mr. Vance's campaign. So fierce was the public reaction that two write-in candidates jumped into the race and took a combined 9% to the vote, some 18,000 protest votes that marred what was supposed to be an unopposed glide to re-election. In the United States, local prosecutors wield immense power over the fate of defendants. 9 of 10 cases are resolved through plea bargains, and prosecutors negotiate the terms almost entirely out of the public eye. They decide whether to bring a case or drop charges, to charge a misdemeanor or a felony, to demand prison or accept probation. Yet in all but 3 states prosecutors are also elected officials. About 2,300 prosecutors across the country must raise money for campaigns, opening them up to charges of favoritism toward contributors. What's more, most prosecutors serve multiple terms, and they run unopposed for re-election more than 80% of the time, academic studies have shown. One reason is that few criminal defense lawyers are willing to risk alienating them with a political challenge. In New York, donations from defense lawyers have been a questionable, albeit legal, feature of the campaign financing system for decades, lawyers said. "It's a definite problem, it looks bad," said Michael G. Cherkasky, a former high-ranking Manhattan prosecutor who was Mr. Vance's finance chairman in 2009. "We also live in a practical world. It's the only way you are going to raise money and get elected unless you happen to be so wealthy you can self-fund." 3 weeks before the election, Mr. Vance, a Democrat who has cultivated an image as criminal justice reformer, leaned into the wind, announcing it was time to re-examine the wisdom of letting defense lawyers give thousands of dollars to prosecutors. "Such donations," he said, "breed public cynicism about a prosecutor's decisions," and he asked the Center for the Advancement of Public Integrity, an anti-corruption think tank at Columbia Law School, to come up with proposals to limit the impact of such contributions. The good government groups Common Cause and Citizens Union joined in, calling for district attorneys to reject contributions from the defense bar.